The Fantasy Football Week 5 Waiver Wire and Week 4 Recap edition of Old Fashioned Football on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code OFFSGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, what's up? This is Sam Acho, and you're listening to Old Fashioned Football.
Old-fashioned football.
You make this deal right now, you pancake-eating mother.
All right, deal.
Old-fashioned football.
Welcome to Old Fashioned Football. If you're wondering who you're listening to, this is J Mark. You can find me on the X at JMarkFootball. And if you're wondering who us is, that's at Old Fashioned FB. Before I keep going, to talk about the Week 5 waiver wire and recap a little bit of what happened in Week 4, I got to bring in my co-host on the pod and in live. You can find her on the X at the Mark. How you doing today?
Doing good.
Doing good. I'm going to need you to pick up the energy a little bit.
Okay.
I came in hot and you just
you came in hot.
doing
I came
good,
in
man.
like, oh, we're fine. It's a long Mondays are always long. It's a long Monday.
Yes.
Hectic, crazy Monday.
We did talk last night that it would be pretty nice if we could just work 2 days a week and then have
You
5
said
off.
3.
I think
Didn't
I
you?
said 2
3
and
and
have 5
4?
off.
Okay,
I was switching weekend and weekdays of
We
work.
get a lot more stuff done around here.
Right? Shout out to the chat. Fantasy Football Fanatic was talking about needing Tyreek Hill to ball out. You and me both.
I need him to balls out tonight too.
Balls out?
He says hope Tyreek balls out.
Oh, I need him balls out is what I heard you say. Josiah saying, woo, let's go. And Kathy checking in, woot. Yeah, I am, Miranda, I'm projected. This has never happened to me before. I'm projected to lose in 4 leagues by less than a point. Less than a point in 4 of them.
Which has never happened. The less than a point.
Yes, that part. Yeah, I know. Being that close
Mhm.
coming into Monday night is a little crazy.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're just like on the edge
Sweating
of
it?
Yeah,
Yes.
sweating.
Absolutely. Can you believe it's week 5 already?
No, with it being week 5, we're already getting into bye weeks.
Which feels crazy.
It does. We've got to start
Plan
accounting
yourself
for all of
accordingly.
that. Just for awareness, on a bye this week, we've got the Lions, Chargers, Eagles, and Titans.
Yeah. So if you have those players, be prepared. They will not be playing for you next week. So you're going to have to do a little lineup configurations. The nice thing is, if you're in a pirate league and you have not won a game, that's me in one of them.
It's me in one of them too.
It's you in one of them. Yeah. Bye weeks is a great time to face somebody that hopefully has
I know, that's
Lions
what
players, Eagles players.
I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
I've won one, and we're in 2 pirate leagues
Yes.
together. Our listener league one, I don't know what to do.
I know
I've lost every single week, and it's like the more people that get stolen from me, I put everybody in. I considered, I knew I was going to lose last week, and I sat, I think, who did I sit?
I don't remember
who I sit, but sat on my bench because I knew they'd get stolen.
Yeah.
I put everybody in this week because I'm trying to, but it's not going to happen.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, I was talking to our listener Hunter, fellow Iowan, about it because he's in our listener league and also hasn't won a game, and like how it's frustrating because when you've had your 3 best players essentially taken from you, now you're about to have a 4th,
and you're going against the teams who have stolen people.
Right? It's
So they're
really hard to see a
stacked.
bounce
I
back.
know.
We did last year. We did have somebody in a league that they went, what was it, 0-3, 0-4, and then they just completely quit. They were like, this league is stupid. And they were
The
out.
pirate league. It was a pirate. They
yeah.
were stolen from every week, and
Yeah.
it's frustrating. But those leagues are fun. Like, it's fun to be in something different, just like the guillotine. you're out of it.
Yes.
But I like the
got
guillotine leagues.
cut out quickly. I like them too. I just wish I would sit in there a little longer. Also, Hunter saying congrats on your win in the auction league. It looks like you're going to beat Hunter.
Oh, good. It'll be my first win.
He's getting to listen today because he went home sick, and now you're beating him. That's just rude,
well,
Miranda.
I've got to get my wins where I can because I've
Fair enough.
been embarrassed by our listener leagues.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?
And Serial checking in saying that the week you play him is when you want to try. I think he's going to take that personal.
Yeah, because the projections had us so close.
Yeah.
I haven't checked where they are right now.
So I was going to run something by you real quick. This has been such a crazy year. We've talked about that before already. But half PPR, 40 points. Okay. 40 points means there's been 4 weeks, 10 points a week. That's average. I mean, I'd say that's okay.
Okay.
I mean, not a
you're
quarterback,
talking about
obviously.
Getting out of a player getting 10 points a week.
Yes. Yeah. Not
Okay.
obviously out of your quarterback. You don't want that.
No, this should be like in your flex, maybe.
Yeah. So 8 kickers have gotten over 40 points, 12 defenses, 1 tight end. One tight end. Dallas Goedert is the only one in a half PPR that has over 40 points. Just goes to show you how difficult the tight end position has been.
Kelsey finally put up a game.
He did, but he hasn't had enough to get him to 40 points overall.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, you have 8 kickers, 12 defenses that have outscored the majority of the tight ends. So Anthony is checking in saying, am I batshit for almost wanting to start Spears over Walker tonight? You know, I worry about Walker's productivity, not only because of that injury. I think they're going to work him in slowly, but also because he's going against one of the top defenses at stopping the run. There's a chance he gets enough carries to warrant starting him, but I don't think you're batshit at all. I think that's a real tough one to wrestle with. Even though Spears hasn't done that much.
He's not getting Pollard is.
Yeah, Pollard is getting most of it, but
when you're looking at between the two, Walker or Spears.
Yeah, because of that injury, it makes me nervous to start Spears. I have him sitting on my bench in a league. Now I did have a better I put Brian Thomas in my flex over him. So little better option than Spears, but I completely get where you're at there. Will Casper saying, should I trade Ayuk for Ferguson and Rico Dowdle? I'm deep at wide receiver, need a running back for next week, and my tight end is Pitts. Yeah, I think Ayuk is a little bit cooked this year. I think there were too many distractions leading into the year, and he just hasn't produced.
He hasn't.
So if you're deep at wide receiver, I don't mind that. I'd like a little bit better running back.
You need to maybe go for a different tight end too.
Oh, you don't like Ferg? Are you just taking jabs at Serial?
Pitts.
Oh, well, he has Pitts. He's
Ferguson.
trying to get Ferguson. Yeah. I thought
Long
this was a jab at Serial in the chat.
No, I like Ferguson.
Yeah, I like that trade
you need
for
to get rid of Pitts.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about him in a little bit. RD saying good luck tonight, J Mark. You as well. That's one of the leagues where I'm projected to lose by less than a point. So good luck to you as well. Before we get into everything, I guess, do you want to let everybody know kind of, what the show's going to be today?
Yeah, we're going to, with it being Monday, I guess, we have our updated injury report. We're going to talk studs and duds. Sir throws a lot. Obviously, that's not going to account for tonight's games. So quarterbacks playing tonight are out of that. We've got Underdog Monday Night Football picks, Waiver Wire, Monday Night Football best bets, and of course, it's Monday, so we're reviewing a whiskey.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to our unofficial sponsor, Liquid Death. Make sure you stay hydrated when you're drinking your whiskey. That's very important, but not just Liquid Death. What are we drinking today?
We've done this one, not the specific one on the show before, but we're drinking Rittenhouse Rye bottled and bond.
Yeah.
And was this a store pick?
It's a single barrel store pick from Wall to Wall in, I believe, Omaha.
In Omaha?
Yeah.
I think so. And we've done just the Rittenhouse Rye before. So we're going to try the bottled and bond store pick, and then kind of compare that with the Rittenhouse Rye that we've done before.
Yeah. I think it'll be fun to see if we can, I guess, distinguish the difference. Yeah, for sure. Real quick before we keep going, we're part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and Sports Gambling Podcast has the most DGen pregame shows in the world. Saturday, the College Experience YouTube live start at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's 10 for us. and 8 Pacific. I had to really think there for a minute. And don't want to leave Mountain Time out, 9 Mountain Time. I'm sure you could have figured that out if you are Mountain Time. For the NFL, the Propcast kicks off at 11 a.m. Sunday, followed by the SGP at noon Eastern. Last second bets, DGen parlays, they take your calls even, and much, much more. All righty. We should talk a little injury report, I feel like. But real quick, let's answer Luke here. DeAndre Swift or Chase Brown week 5? Excellent question, because
we
both looked
totally
good.
And we threw Swift
Under the bus.
and then he proved us wrong, which was exciting.
Yeah, it was good. I think part of it was that they said we want a better look at Roshan. He's running more efficiently. That's going to light a fire under a competitor.
Yeah,
and Swift proved to
somebody
me,
like Swift.
Yeah, Swift proved to me on Sunday that he is a competitor, because that lit a fire. And I also think because the Bears offensive line continues to struggle, Caleb is starting to make those little dump off passes, which is important. And that's going to benefit Swift. So I like that. Chase Brown, I've been touting this guy all year since preseason, since last season, really. We've been big on Chase Brown. I do think his score was a little, we'll say elevated because of the touchdowns, but I think they're both great. If it's PPR, I'm going Swift, though. If you're in a PPR or half PPR league, because he's going to benefit from more of the catches than Chase Brown is. If it's standard, I would consider Chase Brown, because that's where he's going to have better results. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, his isn't working.
Well, you're on passing. I can't help but notice. It is a Monday.
It is. No, and I have used my brain. Like, I've used it all.
I've used it all. Will would like to know, is Kincaid much worse than Ferguson in the earlier trade? I don't think so. I like Dalton Kincaid. I know it's been a little slower start than we kind of expected, but I think it's all right, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. So I would be fine with either Kincaid or Ferguson. I think Ferguson is ranked higher than him right now. I would take, if you go with the lower ranked one,
that Ferguson's getting more of the target share too.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. So if you go Kincaid because you like the Bills offense, even though they weren't shit last night, I would try to get a little bit better running back than Rico Dowdle, personally. Also, Ferguson, Rico, same team. Maybe you want to avoid having the same team. Should I try to get a decent player off of Justin Fields? Good week. I already have Jordan Love. I've seriously considered this in dynasty leagues because he did have a blow-up game. Blow-up fourth quarter, really. He didn't have a lot of points before then, but he had a blow-up fourth quarter. So I don't think it's a bad idea to shop him around. I'm sure that means we're going to get a million trade requests from Mr. Josiah in our family league, but that's okay. Let's go over this injury report real quick. We had a couple injuries. Now, you're going to see notifications that blah, blah, blah has changed from healthy to questionable. Don't read into those too much. It's also why our injury report's a little shorter right now. Follow the shorts we release when they actually say people are in or out. You got to realize these guys, now that we're getting into several weeks, they're going to be sore on Mondays because they're a bunch of pussies. No, that's not true. But they're going to, maybe they show up to work on Monday and they're like, oh, man, I'm a little bit sore. And so the trainer or the coaching staff, they go, all right, why don't you take it easy today then? And so then they're in a limited practice and then all of a sudden they're questionable. Well, they're not questionable. It's just that they were limited in practice on Monday. So when you see those notifications, my point is don't panic.
We're bringing you the actual injuries.
Yeah, okay? Let's talk about the one to panic on.
Rashee Rice.
Yes.
They're thinking that he might have an ACL tear, and if that's the case, he's going to be out for the season. Rumors are already flying that the Chiefs may try and trade for Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, or Amari Cooper. And if that's the case, I think that you're going to want to target these guys in a trade.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the rumors, though, to see which direction they might be going.
Devontae Adams on the Chiefs would be kind of sweet. I just don't know if the Raiders would want to help the Chiefs out like that. They are rivals.
I know.
So I don't think that would happen, though I do like it. But yeah, that's unfortunate for Rashee Rice. It's also unfortunate that Patrick Mahomes is the one that tore his ACL. Patrick Mahomes threw a pick and he went in to tackle the guy as Rashee was tackling him and just hit that knee and blew it up. Christian Watson, high ankle sprain, no official word, but I'm guessing he's going to be out a couple weeks. This is a guy that, I mean, he's dealt with these with injuries, mainly his hamstrings, but now the ankle could be rough for him. Could be rough.
Yeah. And we've got Anthony Richardson has a hip pointer.
Yeah.
Something. I've not heard that one before.
Really bad bruise, I believe, on the hip.
He's expected to miss little to no time.
Yes. Also, the Colts, Jonathan Taylor has a high ankle sprain. It's considered mild, but I would not be surprised if he misses at least a week.
And then we have a Christian McCaffrey update for everybody. He has Achilles tendonitis in both of his legs.
It's not funny, but you can't make this shit up.
No. So if you picked up Jordan Mason, I picked up Mason in as many leagues as I could. Then congrats, you're doing good.
Yeah, you won the waiver wire. Really.
He's going to be the starting running back all year. So if you had the 101 and took CMC.
Like me.
Sorry, Justin.
Yeah. It's rough because obviously you wait so long to make your second pick and your first one hasn't played it down yet. And then just not an injury, kind of a opposite of an injury, getting healthier. Nick Chubb. The Browns are opening the practice window for his return, meaning he could be back in the lineup really as late as 2 to 3 weeks from now, as early as next week or 2 weeks. So keep an eye out on that. If he is available, go pick him up. He might be able to do something a little more. Their run game has kind of struggled, which, I mean, we talked about that it was going to because neither one of us are big on Jerome Ford at all.
No.
Miranda, why don't you tell people we're a little bit about Underdog Fantasy?
Yeah, we are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, and Underdog Fantasy Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports: NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, WNBA, NASCAR, and more. Their lobby is jam-packed with profit boosts, and we are going to be giving out picks here in a little bit, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, head on over to underdogfantasy.com, sign up with promo code OFFSGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Again, that's underdogfantasy.com, promo code OFFSGPN.
All right, we're back, and you mentioned that the NASCAR is on Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you go check out the NASCAR Gambling Podcast because those guys give out Underdog Fantasy lineups, and they kill it.
They know their stuff.
They know their shit, actually, not just stuff. They know their shit as well.
They know their shit. Sorry.
Hunter pointing out Rice starting a suspension in 2025. And Josiah saying Devontae is not going to the Chiefs. Absolutely no shot. And when do you think A.J. Brown will be back? They have a bye week in week 5. I think it'll be week 6.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that one.
I think they decided to let him rest a little bit longer.
Which I'm okay with as long as like there's no re-aggravation, like he's healed.
Yeah, and I think that's why they wanted him to heal. By the way, just real quick before we get into studs and duds, I was thinking today that Jordan Love as a starter this year, you know, the guy that they paid all that money to, is 0-2. Malik Willis, the backup from Tennessee that they traded for, is 2-0. I think they should just bench Jordan Love. Of course, kidding. I don't really think that. Should we talk a little studs and duds?
Yes, we've got one stud for you at each position and one dud. I have my quarterback stud.
Yeah.
Is Justin Fields. So speaking of him in the chat earlier,
yeah,
he's projected 16.8. He finished with 31.98 with 312 passing yards, a passing touchdown, 55 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns.
I don't remember him having a stat line like that when he played for the Bears.
No, we were not utilizing him correctly. I will stand by that forever.
Jamie checking in right at a perfect time for studs and duds. The stud Jamie checks in, and then RD saying, "I bet you do think that they should bench Jordan Love, not we." Shout out to Channing. Cheers. How's it going, man?
Hello.
And Serial, speaking of benching people, is it Bajent time yet? Okay. All right. Now I have to grab my phone real quick so I can read this stat. But
you shouldn't have done this.
You should not have done this. It's like, I should not have done that. The Hagrid thing. Caleb Williams is currently the 6th most pressured quarterback in the NFL. Below or his passing, not below, I'm going to read his passer ratings while under pressure for weeks 1 to 4. Week 1, 39.6. That was 29th in the NFL. Week 2, 2.8, tied for 32nd. Week 3, 51.4, 23rd. This last week, his passer rating while under pressure, 124.5, first in the NFL. He's figuring it out. He's adjusting. He knows that he can't play hero ball every time. So let's cool it on the Bajent talk there. We're 2-2. He's the only quarterback taken number 1 overall to win his 2 home opening games in the modern draft era. Let's calm down there, Serial. Ishan saying down 38 points in PPR with Achane, Laporta, and Miami defense. Am I cooked? Might not be. I'm hoping for a big game from Laporta.
He's due. He's due for it. I think that the Lions and Seahawks game could. We talked about this on Thursday, like be a blow up game. And if that's the case, I would think that Laporta is going to benefit from that somehow.
Yeah.
I also think that I just have this feeling that Chan's going to have a good game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like it.
I almost went with him for maybe I did. Did I go with him for my
you don't even remember who you
touchdown.
picked.
I know I went with rushing. I think I went with him for the first touchdown.
Did you?
I did.
I did not, but we'll see who was right.
Not to be a spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Let's get back to our studs and duds. Derrick Henry was projected 14.6. He finished with 33.4. Also, just shout out to DeAndre Swift, projected 12, finished with 26. Finally had a good game, so he was also a stud.
Yes, and then we have. There were multiple shout outs to Nico.
Multiple wide receiver studs. There were a lot of nice games.
There's Nico, like why can't I think Jaden Reed?
Yeah.
Thank you. But I'm gonna talk about Dontavian Wicks. That's a name for you.
Another Packer.
Yes. Projected 5.5, finished with 22.3. And Jordan Addison, back from injury. I threw him in.
We were having that. It was against me.
We were having a Sunday morning debate over Pittman, Addison, and somebody else. And you're like, you have to start your studs. And you were adamant Pittman is still a stud. And I just went with my gut. I threw Addison in there. And he was projected 9, finished with 21.4. And
it was against me.
I beat you.
Well, not yet.
Yeah, no, I beat you.
You're projected to win by 10. It's not done, though. I have players left.
It's done.
Tight end stud, I kind of want to say none. No tight ends are really showing that they're a stud this year. But Taysom Hill finally did something. You know, we talked about him in our top 12 tight end episode where he's a guy that he's going to probably finish with a good number overall, even though he has been dealing with injuries. But it's about trying to find when those games happen. He was projected 5.9. He finished with 14.4. As you know, from us talking about tight ends over and over every week, it seems like that's a huge game. It seems like. I mean, let's talk about some duds.
Yeah, I've got a quarterback dud, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Projected 21.7. He only finished with 7.3 in their 35-10 loss to the Ravens. This one surprised me.
Yeah, that's rough. And Breece Hall projected 17.7, finished with 2.8 in their loss to the Broncos. My dad was talking about how in our family league, he doesn't have a lot of good running backs, and he doesn't know why he took Devin Singletary because he only finished with 4.8. And I said, you know what? I have a good running back in Breece Hall, and he got me 3 points. So doesn't matter, I guess. Doesn't matter.
Right. Wide receiver dud. Zay Flowers didn't affect the Ravens, but might have affected your lineup.
Yeah.
He was projected 11.6 and only finished with 1.5. We have just seen such crazy, not like bad scores for fantasy out of so many players, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, agreed. Speaking of bad scores, I hate this, but I know you love it. Kyle Pitts projected 7.4. He had as many catches on Sunday as I did. 0. Big old goose egg. But you know what? Mark Andrews, also a goose egg.
I know.
It's really tough to know what to do with Mark Andrews. Is he becoming droppable?
I've seen so many things where it's the end of his era. Like the Mark Andrews era is done. Start like getting rid of him. I've seen so many things online today about him being done.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe. I don't know. That might be a little bit of an overreaction. But Jamie's saying don't forget the Roschon touchdown. He did score his touchdown. I thought he'd have a little bit better game, but he still did pretty good.
Took the game for that.
Swift did do pretty good. You know what time it is. It's time for Sir Throws a Lot.
This is Jim Miller, former Chicago Bears quarterback, and now it's time for Sir Throws a Lot.
All right. We touch on this every week. So Channing, I know you're jumping in here to just kind of hang out with us, which we super appreciate. But if you haven't been with us before, we just touch on the guy that threw the ball the most. Just a little fun thing. Last week we had Caleb Williams with 52. He did not throw it 52 times again, thankfully.
No.
I don't think that's a recipe for success for the Bears. But Miranda, who's this week's Sir Throws a Lot?
We're staying in the NFC North for the third week in a row. And of course, this doesn't take into consideration tonight's games because we don't have those stats yet. But Jordan,
Why not?
What?
Why not?
Why
You didn't go
why
to the
not?
future and get
No,
him?
I didn't. Sorry, I failed you. Didn't do that this time.
Damn it.
Jordan Love, Justin. Jordan Love. Returning from injury, he threw it for 54 times for 389 yards, 4 touchdowns, mostly towards the end, partially in garbage time.
Yeah, they were down pretty much that whole game by a lot.
He did have 3 receptions.
3 what?
Interceptions. Receptions, interceptions. I'm telling you, this is not my
You're having a Monday of all Mondays. It's all right. We'll get to the whiskey.
No,
That'll help.
He didn't throw it to himself, everybody. He had 3 interceptions. And I was just going to say, like, we normally don't talk about the interception stat in there, but it's the Packers. So I had to bring that to the table.
Yeah.
Sorry, RD.
Sorry, RD. It's not sorry, Cody, this week. It's sorry, RD. Garbage time in a game decided by 2. They were down by a lot most of that game. Come on now. Josh Allen let me down. Sad. Yeah, I have him in a league too, and I thought I was going to kill it in that league, and I did not.
And it's not just anybody who had Josh Allen, because that's not somebody you sit.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, a lot of these players where they get 1.0 points, whatever, it's nobody's sitting them.
Right.
So a lot of people are just
agreed.
Not doing well.
Agreed. Should we do a little Underdog Fantasy lineup? How'd you feel about your lineup this week?
I had a hard time. I have my notes.
You got your notes
down all my thoughts while I was picking these.
You didn't give them to me?
No, I don't trust you with them. They'll end up in the trash. They'll be shredded. I don't know.
Yeah, I accidentally ate them. Sorry. The dog ate your homework. Let's go over your picks first, then we'll get to mine.
All right. Okay. My first one on here, I just want to say I'm throwing this one out there. I don't know how much faith I have in it, which is great for everybody listening. But I have Will Levis higher than 19.5 completions. And I'm going with this one. I don't care for Will Levis. I don't think
I see our graphic guy messed up and put Will Levins. I'll talk to him about that
Why
later.
don't you talk to him?
I will.
He's getting fired.
Yeah.
But he had just weeks 1 through 3, 19 completions, and then 26. And over those 3 weeks, we saw his pass completion percentage increase from 59 to 68 to 76 last week, when he had the most completions.
Yeah.
So I'm riding on that, saying he's going to get higher than that 19.5, maybe not 26, but higher than his 19 that he's been getting. I also had Tyreek Hill, 51.5 receiving yards, higher than that. This changed. When I picked it, it was 53.5, so even better, 51.5. I'm hoping that Huntley can pull this offense together in week 2. I'm just looking at without Tua. In week 2, he had 24 yards. Week 3, 40. And they had just this revolving door of passers. So I'm hoping Huntley brings it together there. Devon Achane, yes. Higher than 3.5 receptions. I promise I will get it together by the end of the show. Probably not, because we'll be drinking whiskey.
By the whiskey time.
And again, he's been targeted between 7 and 5 times. Last week was the only week where he didn't catch all of his targets. and so he only had 3. I think that this is attainable, especially with Huntley coming in. Then Geno Smith higher than 250.5 passing yards. I think this is going to be a blowout game.
Yeah.
So I'm going with that. And Amon-Ra St. Brown higher than 34.5 receiving yards.
74.
74.5. Thank you. I think that this is going to be easy for him to get. He has like 37% of the target share on this offense. We saw him over the last couple of weeks at 75 and 119 receiving yards. I think that especially into tonight's game, the 74.5 is going to be easy.
Yeah.
So all $10 for all of this pays $189.90.
Nice.
Underdog.
I like it. And don't forget to use promo code OFFSGPN. Play along with us. I'm going to go over mine now. Usually, I have your picks ahead of time, and I try to pick different things so that we're not giving out the same
I
thing.
gave you my picks late today.
You gave them a little late today, so I already had mine. So we actually have 2 the same. I also have Tyreek Hill at 51.5 receiving yards higher. This is a discounted rate. You're not going to get Tyreek Hill to be just barely over 50 yards again, I don't think. And I have faith in Snoop. There's a reason they're putting Snoop as their starter.
I just can't.
That's his
Huntley.
nickname, Snoop. I also have Ryan Stonehouse of the Titans, 5.5 punts.
This is an interesting
going
one.
going to some punting higher. Geno Smith, 250.5 passing yards higher. I like that one as well because, like we've talked since last week, we think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Jason Myers, Seattle's kicker, 2 extra points made. I think they're going to score 2 touchdowns, so I like higher. And then Detroit's kicker, Jake Bates, I went a little different.
Kickers in here.
I know, the punting and the kicker props, because these guys matter too. Jake Bates, higher than 7.5 kicking points. I mean, he's one of the best kickers in the league. I liked him from the UFL. I think he's going to get this easily. I mean, you think some extra points, a 40, 50-yard kick, and he's going to get there. All right. I think it's time to get to our waivers, making sure I keep our little clicker going here. I did skip right over Sir Throws because I forgot. My bad. I was too excited to talk to Jim again. But actually, before we get to waivers, I do want to let you guys know that we're brought to you by BetUS, betting the best in the business. BetUS. They've been around for 40 years, and you can bet anywhere. So I believe Channing is located in Canada. BetUS is not just US, despite the name. It's available in a ton of locations internationally. They just launched an all-new live betting experience, and you can deposit using your cryptocurrency, get that Dogecoin ready, get lightning-fast payouts. And, they have a ton of bets there. So use our link to sign up and you get a crazy 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS, promo code SGPN, so they know that we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Have you ever wanted to create your own sports betting model for football? Do you even know what a sports betting model is? Don't worry, SGPN's proud partner Rhythm. They're the number 1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or press build a model for me, and Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop. They also got a myriad of stats, research, and trends analysis to give you an even more betting insights. If you're a nerd like me, you're going to love it. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Now, back to old-fashioned football.
All right. Thank you, Jim. We always appreciate you. Should we talk about these waivers?
Let's do it. I have spent so much time on the waivers. It's crazy.
You have to this year.
I know.
You just have to. So let's start with quarterback.
All right. I have Geno Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He's rostered in 29.1% of ESPN, 42% of Sleeper. I know it's higher than what we normally bring. We stay under 50% rostered.
Yeah.
But he hasn't played this week yet.
No.
He plays tonight against the Lions. However, the Seahawks have been moving the ball well on defenses. 2 weeks ago, he threw for 327 yards and a touchdown. Last week, it was 289 yards and a touchdown. He's not a league winner by any means, but he could provide help during a bye week, which, as we said, it starts this coming week for some teams.
Yeah.
And I just think that, he's a reliable option out there.
Yeah. I mean, you got Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, I forget who else we said was on a bye week. Will Levis. I don't think anybody's counting on him
Dang it.
to start, but Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts,
Mhm.
those are starting quarterbacks, and Justin Herbert as well. That was the
Yes.
other one.
Yeah, Herbert.
Yeah, so Geno Smith could fill in nicely. I'm gonna bring you a guy that if Anthony Richardson's not hurt, it doesn't matter, but Joe fucking Flacco. Rostered in
Oh my gosh,
6.2%
he
of
emerged.
ESPN, 2% of sleeper. If Anthony Richardson misses time, which I think he might miss a game, Joe Flacco
Or-
is the next man up, and
Even
he
if
looked good
Doesn't,
again.
though.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
I do like rostering him just in case
Mm-hmm.
because Anthony Richardson has shown this injury history. We've seen that last year he got injured, missed the season,
Mhm.
but he had been injured every single game last year before he went out for the season. Yeah, he fed Flacco fed Josh Downs, which we've been waiting for. He looked better throwing to Pittman. I mean, he throws the ball better. Anthony Richardson, excellent athlete. But Joe Flacco, he knows this offense very well and he ran it very efficiently. So I think if you have the space, put a waiver in for him.
I made the decision. I didn't do it in all leagues that I had Josh Downs in, but there's a couple where I decided to bench him. It's between a couple players. He hasn't been amounting to much with Richardson throwing to him. Joe Flacco comes in, and then you start seeing all these Josh Downs, like Joe Flacco to Josh Downs.
Yeah, he targeted him a lot.
I know, and Joe Flacco is just exciting to watch because he just does things. I don't. Do you know what I mean? He gets it done.
Joe Flacco is 8 days older than Anthony Richardson's mom. I saw so they were interviewing Joe Flacco and they said Anthony Richardson said you were a lot cooler than he expected, and he goes, I'm 8 days older than his mom, so I doubt he thinks I'm cool. I thought that was funny.
All right. At running back, I have Kareem Hunt. He's rostered in 21.4% of ESPN leagues, 37% on Sleeper. We know Isaiah Pacheco is going to be out for at least 4 weeks, possibly more. And Kareem Hunt took over the backfield this week, having 14 carries for 69 yards. P. Ryan only had 5 carries. And then Carson Steele only had 2. So it looks like the Chiefs have decided that Hunt will be their guy.
Yeah, the Carson Steele cult followers, such as Sean Green, I think the guy's awesome. I mean, he's got a pet crocodile, but I don't think he's going to be the big splash that everybody thought. Yeah. I mean,
before you go on to yours too, I have just a bonus one here.
All right.
Trey Sermon, he's rostered in like not even 1% of ESPN leagues and 4% in Sleeper. This is just if Jonathan Taylor misses time. Sermon is the next guy up. He's come a long way for the guy whose first carry ended up fumbling and landing right on his dome.
True. And I do think Taylor misses a game, so that's a good one. I like it. I'm going to give out Justice Hill, rostered in 9.7% of ESPN leagues, 28% of Sleeper. I know the Ravens were up big, but Hill's been getting involved in every game as the pass catching back. He ended up having 6 catches on 6 targets for 78 yards and a touchdown. He had 8 targets and 6 catches in week 1 too. So it's not like just because they were up. Week 2, 3, and 4, he's had 4 or more carries as well. It's a little bit of a deeper play, but it could help you navigate your bye weeks. And now I feel pressured to give out a bonus since you did. I'm trying to think. Tank Bigsby. ETN has a shoulder injury. They said it's probably not serious, but they have had a weird backfield split. I know we talked about week 1, it was 50-50. That's something to keep an eye on. And if ETN misses time, Bigsby could be a good pickup. I had to pull one out since you had pressured me because you had to, and I felt like I had to live up to that.
Yes. All right, wide receiver. I'm just going to throw this guy out. I've already just mentioned him a little bit ago. Josh Downs. He's rostered in only 8.8% of ESPN leagues, 29% on Sleeper. And I think part of this is probably Joe Flacco's doing.
Joe fucking Flacco.
But I do think some of it too has to do with Downs getting back into the groove after being injured. And he had a 32% target share which was tied with Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
But Downs had more catches. I guess Pittman had more yards though. But I think that you should keep an eye on this offense. And if it can progress with Anthony Richardson, Downs will be a part of that.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to throw out a Giants player, something I never thought I would say. Wan'Dale Robinson, rostered in 27% in ESPN, 46%, so kind of high, but 32, 15, 24, 37. That's the target share that Wan'Dale Robinson has had through 4 weeks. So you have 2 plus 30, 15 as his lowest. That's still pretty good. And Daniel Jones likes looking his way. Against the Cowboys, he had almost as many targets and catches as Malik Neighbors. The big yardage really hasn't been there, but this is a guy that just scored 18 points in a PPR league. I think he's a must-start flex. Plus, in a PPR league, he's the 20th. I know we always talk half PPR, but because he's not getting a lot of yards, this is definitely a PPR move. He's the 20th wide receiver, and he's rostered in only 27.1% of leagues. That doesn't add up.
No, that's
I mean,
crazy.
Because 20th, you start 2 wide receivers in a 10-person league. That should be your second receiver.
Well, most leagues fill it to 12.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. Just interesting.
All right. Tight end. Tucker Kraft.
Oh, we're going to say something good about the Packers
We
now.
are. Well, we've got to be legit here.
I see RD questioning our biased takes.
I know.
So
saw that comment. Not pleased. We can hate on the Packers all we want. But Tucker Kraft is rostered in 4.5% of ESPN, 8% in sleeper leagues. He's coming off of a huge game where he was targeted 9 times. He caught 6 of those for 53 yards and a touchdown. And this is more for me like a stash to see if he keeps this up. However, if he does, in just a couple weeks, he could be a top 10 tight end because we've had such terrible consistency in this position. Like I don't know what to do week to week when it comes to tight ends.
I know.
It's frustrating.
It is frustrating. I have a lot of shares of Evan Ingram, which has been out. I have Trey McBride, who ended up being out. I invested too much in Kyle Pitts. I apologize.
You did.
I'm out on him now.
You are out. You're off that train.
Oh yeah.
4 weeks in and you're done.
That's done.
You gave up on him after all that talk. 4 weeks is all it took for you to back out.
That's all.
4 weeks. And was it the goose egg, or were you already leaning that way before that?
I was starting to lean that way.
The goose egg sealed the deal. So are you going to tell me I was right?
You know, I have seen though something that could turn this around. In some of the trade rumors of Patrick Mahomes needing pass catchers, Kyle Pitts has been thrown out.
Ew.
But I have a lot of Laporta, Travis Kelce as well. They just haven't.
I have Evan Ingram. I have a lot of shares of him, and I'm just hoping he can come back and like just give me what I need at the tight end position. But anyway, when it comes,
give you what you need in your tight end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me what I need him to give. Give me what I need. But anyway, I was going to say that's why the waivers, like when you see somebody like Kraft have a really good game, stop it. You've got to pay attention to that because no tight ends are producing right now.
Yeah. And real quick, going to say this. If TJ Hawkinson is available on the waivers, go look at him. Go see if you can stash him.
He should probably be picked up in almost every league on the injured reserve.
Yeah, but there are leagues that don't have injured reserve.
He comes back like week 8.
Well, they're saying that he's getting close, so it could be.
That would be somebody's saving grace at that position too.
Yeah. Speaking of TJ Hawkinson, I'm going to give out Eric Alt Jr. rostered in 0.4 and 3% of leagues. Is he George Kittle, TJ Hawkinson, Sam Laporta? No. But he is an Iowa tight end. And you know, we love the Iowa tight ends. They are good. Now, tight end, like you said, it's been a crapshoot. He's had 4 receptions on 4 targets in each of the last 3 games. So you're having a little bit of consistency, which is really hard. Yes, it's low consistency. I get that.
It's better than a 0.
But it is better. That's more consistency than Kyle Pitts has had, which I know many of us drafted. They continue to target him.
The 0 from Mark Andrews.
Exactly. They continue to target him. He's reliable. And I think Joe Burrow is realizing like, oh, this guy, he can bail me out. This guy's good. This guy does his job. That's what Iowa tight ends do. Like they know how to do their job. So I think he's worth a stash. I mean, in Dynasty, he's probably picked up, but if he's not, absolutely go get him in a Dynasty league because we've seen how Iowa tight ends they're of great caliber. But yeah, I think that's definitely a guy you need to check out for sure. All righty. If I can find the clicker and click the right stuff, we're going to talk about best bets. If you're watching on YouTube, or if you're not watching on YouTube, I should say, head on over. Not only do you get to see Miranda's pretty face and my ginger beard, and our unofficial sponsor, Liquid Death, but you also get to see a little whiskey clicker move along our topics, which is just, it's a little fun plus EV move, as Kramer would call it. Should we give out some best bets for Monday Night Football?
Let's do it.
Before I keep rambling about our plus EV moves.
Yep. Let's do that.
All right, I'll let you start.
All right. We finally saw Travis Kelce have a good game.
We did.
And like he's one of my top tight ends. So I'm going to put faith in one of the other top tight ends.
Yeah.
And let's go Sam Laporta.
Okay.
Over 4.5 catches, which is at plus 125. And I think he finally has an impact game carrying over from last year. Like I'm just waiting to see it. I think he's due. This is the game.
I need it.
Also, I've been hitting on all these longest receptions. So I like DK Metcalf for longest reception over 23.5 yards.
I like that. He has been a big play monster this year so far. So definitely like that. And I need the big game from Laporta. Like I have him and Hill against our D. I need it. Please. Last Monday night's doubleheader, I hit my touchdown parlay. I gave out a 2-person touchdown parlay. I'm doing it again. This one doesn't pay as much, but give me David Montgomery and Devon Chan to score anytime touchdown. It's plus 248, so about 2.5 to 1. So that's the one I really like, but for just like a little bit of sprinkle a little bit of money, maybe a quarter or a half a unit, take those two guys, add Jahmyr Gibbs, who also scores a lot, and DK Metcalf, the guy you just talked about, anytime touchdowns for Monty, Gibbs, Chan, Metcalf. That's 18 to 1. I like that a lot. I think it's very possible for that to hit too.
David Montgomery has scored a touchdown in every single game.
He's a beast. How can you not bet him as an anytime touchdown?
I think it's definitely, and with the teams playing tonight, I think it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
All right. Ready for first touchdown bets?
This is where we've made our bread and butter. The
one of us is usually always right.
Right. The reason our units are up so much, our units are up because of our first touchdown bets hitting. Obviously, they pay well. So yeah.
All right.
I'll let you start.
For Titans and Dolphins, I mentioned this earlier. Spoiler alert! But I did pick Devon Chan for
I like it.
First touchdown. This is at plus 500. And then for the Lions Seahawks, I'm going with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I feel like he's due.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he only had one touchdown so far.
I don't know off the top of my head.
I think when I was looking at
had
stats,
a lot.
Yeah. So I feel like it's in tonight's game, and I tend to go with the rushing touchdowns, and I didn't want to do that on this game because I feel like we've talked about how they're going to be passing a lot.
Yeah.
I just think they're going to get it into Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I like
touchdown.
it. Josiah,
plus 7,500.
Josiah commenting he wants you.
Plus 750.
Plus
7,500.
That'd be
That's a big
some
one.
sweet cash. Yeah, plus 750. Josiah wants you to keep your units in your pants.
I can't when we're spending.
I like it. So Titans Dolphins, I think you're probably on something with Devon Chan, but I got to be different from you. New quarterback is in. Maybe they get close to the end zone. They call that pass play where he's supposed to target Tyreek Hill. He doesn't read it right, and he does what Snoop can do, scrambles, and scores the first touchdown, 12 to 1, plus 1,200. Yeah, I'm taking Snoop Huntley.
Ballsy.
I know. I like it. For Lions Seahawks, I'm not going to go away from the bread and butter of their rushing attack. I always worry when I take this that Gibbs gets it first, but usually Monty is their first running back in.
Yeah, and they get him over the line.
Yeah, I mean, usually when you watch this team, they open up in series 1, it's Monty. Series 2, it's Gibbs, and they kind of flip back and forth pretty evenly. Monty is, 5-1 plus 500. That's my first touchdown for the Lions Seahawks. I really like it. I almost took DK Metcalf. So if
I almost did too.
okay, so maybe if you're listening to this and you're wanting to follow along, maybe sprinkle a little on DK.
I did. I almost did. with
Okay,
him.
because we like him as well.
Mhm.
Obviously, we're trying to pick just one a game, but DK is a good option as well. So, whiskey. Should we talk a little whiskey?
Yes.
Do you want to give the history? Do you want me to give the history? How do you want to
I
break
can give
this
the
down?
history this time.
All right, perfect.
been a
I'll
minute.
work on pouring,
All right.
and you get the
So-
history going.
Just to circle back to the start of the show, we are trying Rittenhouse Rye bottled in bond.
Real quick,
Yeah.
should we try the normal or the store pick first?
Normal because it's lower proof.
They're the same proof.
They're the
bottled
same
in
proof.
bond.
They're both bottled in bond.
Yes.
You didn't tell me that.
I just did.
So I forgot about that.
Yeah, they're both bottle and bond products.
No. Let's do our store pick.
All right.
I don't know. We've tried the other one before.
Yeah.
What do you think we should do? Try the first one?
I mean, it's going to be interesting because usually when you have a store pick, it's like a barrel
Yeah.
proof or whatever. And this isn't. It's just a private single barrel. So maybe it's sat somewhere a little different than this. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I kind of wanted to do both, try both of them.
Yeah.
To see.
But like what order?
I don't know. Let's go with the regular first. How about
Okay.
that?
All right.
And then we'll see
Well,
if the store pick
We are
changed
doing
anything.
a new review. The new review tonight will be on the Rittenhouse Rye bottled and bond store pick. It's a private single barrel. And then we also have the Rittenhouse. I didn't realize it was bottled and bond. Rye bottled and bond. That we've tried before. I don't remember how long ago. It's been a while.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
So it'll almost be like trying it in because this is not like a go-to.
I poured you a little bit of a lot. I apologize. I poured this glass
Jeez.
and then realized there was something in it. So I'll take that glass. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
You know me well.
Right. Go ahead.
Okay, but anyway, Rittenhouse Rye, it's made by Heaven Hill Distillery, which we've talked about multiple times. They make many different products, including the Heaven Hill bottled and bond we had a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Bernheim.
Ooh, I tried Josh's
oh,
Bernheim.
really?
Yeah, he brought it to the guys' night thing we had,
Mhm.
and it was very good for I think he said it was like a $35 bottle. Very good for that price.
They also no, you're
Go on.
good. You're good. Larceny, which we've tried. That was like one of our first back in the day. One of our first ones we tried.
I'm not gonna comment on every one you
Mm-mm.
mentioned, but yeah, we did try that a long time ago. But they're a sponsor of VEASAN that
Ah.
SGP guys are on once a week.
Mhm.
Anyways,
They also make. I'll get through these products. I promise everybody. They make Old Fitzgerald,
love the bottle.
Elisha Craig,
No comment.
Evan Williams, and Mellow Corn.
You know I love my Evan Williams bottle.
I know
bond.
you
Anyways,
do. So just to get into some of the, are you okay? To get into some of the history, as you know, bourbon is known as America's native spirit, but the history of rye whiskey is also a part of America's of America as well, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it's tied to the decline of rum production in the early 19th century, which was then hurt even more due to French and British territory embargoes. Scottish, Irish immigrants who had settled around Maryland and Pennsylvania had brought barley and a knowledge of distillation along with them. And since rye was the primary grain growing in the region, along with corn, they became the premier producers of rye whiskey. Hold on, don't mix these up for me.
Oh, I know which is which.
Okay. So over time, these two styles of your bourbon and your rye developed. The actually not your bourbon and your rye, of just ryes. Two styles of ryes.
I didn't even
I don't know what's
catch
wrong
what you
with
were
me.
saying.
I know. I'm catching what
Do you
I'm
need to
saying.
tag?
No. So you have your Maryland style rye that are generally softer, grassy flavor, where the Pennsylvania style rye referred to as the old I'm not.
I saw
I'm
that word too, and I
horrible.
had no idea.
It's-
Monongahela?
Yeah, something.
Monongahela.
Just the Pennsylvania style ryes are known for their more like spicy and like robust flavors.
Which is
Let's
what you
do
like
that.
in ryes,
I
right?
do.
You like the rye
I like
spice.
that's why I like ryes. Like there's so much flavor there and they're spicy. And anyway, going back to some history here. In 1934, at the end of Prohibition, Rittenhouse Square straight rye whiskey was introduced by the Continental Distilling Corp of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which was named after Philadelphia's historic Rittenhouse Square. And then it quickly gained popularity as a choice Pennsylvania rye around like in 1948. After years of wartime shortages, they dropped the square from Rittenhouse's name. And they changed it from a 100 proof 2-year-old rye whiskey to a 4-year-old bottled in bond. So now, then fast forward to 1993, which
That's
is
a lot of fast forwarding.
is a lot of fast forwarding, but 1993 doesn't seem like that long ago, but it really was.
Fair.
Heaven Hill Distillery purchased the Rittenhouse straight rye whiskey and kind of kept it alive during the time where whiskey popularity declines.
Yes, that's what the kids now call the late 1900s.
I know. I was born in the late 1900s.
This sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Yes, it's horrible. And then in the 2000s, a cocktail renaissance resurfaced. Some of those classic recipes, such as like the Manhattan, it became a very popular, and bartenders who wanted to keep everything authentic turned to cocktail books dating back to the mid 1800s, which featured rye and not bourbon. And the rye popularity kind of surged then.
Yeah.
So at that time, Rittenhouse is the only bottled and bond rye whiskey product on the market. And Rittenhouse Rye won double gold in 2019, 2021, and 2022 at different competitions.
Yeah, you don't see the bottled and bond rye as often.
No, which
You're
is
starting
what
to see
threw
more,
me
but
when because I forgot that it was a bottled and bond
Yeah.
until you said that, and I was like, wait,
yeah, you're starting to see them
I'm
a little
used
bit
to just
more.
seeing them on bourbons, you know?
Right. Yeah. But yeah. No, I've smelled both of them.
You like gave me nothing for the second sample.
Well, you complained about.
Well, look at what you gave me. This is not a sample.
I think there's plenty. There's plenty in there. Look at that.
Okay.
It's just the glass. They definitely smell different.
I gotta smell the difference.
I think, anyways. Yeah, I'm curious at what you think. Like,
Oh yeah.
this smells
Well, when you do a select barrel, you're getting,
just the one barrel.
yeah, where this is a blend of the
Probably is, yeah.
different
and I feel like
barrels.
this smells sweet, the normal. And this, I don't mean this in a bad way. It's a note that people pick up with whiskey sometimes. Smells like a highlighter.
I didn't get that.
A marker? What about a marker? Smell it. Take a big old sniff.
No, I
No?
smell something sweet.
Really? I do in this one, but this one I don't get the sweetness.
I don't get a
as much.
highlighter or a marker.
Well, I do.
Maybe remember those scented markers? Did you
Yes,
ever used to have scented markers?
Yes, they were delicious. But yeah, I was told to quit eating them.
What?
What?
No,
What?
wait, were you?
No.
Exactly. Don't
What?
do that to me. I'm too gullible.
I know. If anybody's seen the new Top Gun movie in the chat, let us know how it
No.
is. And
You
don't
are not
wanna-
allowed to do that. Yes,
Do
go
what?
see the new Top Gun movie, but that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah, I just want people to
You
let me know how
cannot
it is.
embarrass me.
What are you talking
anymore.
about?
You're done.
What do you get for the taste on this one? I was just asking people to let me know how it is. I want to see it.
There's a lot of I'm trying to
There's a lot of
distracted
spice.
me from my tasting.
There's a lot of spice.
Mm-hmm. There's not okay for in the chat. There's not a new one. It's just the new one.
A new one.
Just the new one.
The one with Glenn Powell in it, allegedly. He's in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Just how
what brought this up.
Yeah.
I gave you too much of me, not enough. What do you taste in it? I get spice for
Mhm.
sure. You got your
Definitely the
rice spice.
I'm trying to pinpoint what, because there's a little bit of sweetness, which
Like toffee.
kind of, I was trying to figure. It's not
Yeah.
caramel.
No, it's
It
like a
might be a little
toffee
bit of
taste.
toffee.
Yeah, I'm getting that
Spicy
too.
toffee.
Spicy toffee. Well,
But there's a lot of
I feel like the toffee hits first, and then the finish is really spice, like a
Yeah.
rice spice.
Mhm.
That's what you're getting.
I have to try it one more time.
Yeah, go for it. Now, I'm sure these are different trying them back to back rather than if you just tried them on
Mhm.
their own. Every whiskey
Yeah.
influences the other.
It's also very it's very strong.
Yeah.
It's not a word I use very often, but this one it feels strong.
Yeah, which I think is good because it's going to stand out in your
Mhm.
cocktail for sure. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just 100 proof, right?
Yeah. Bottled and bond.
Has to
Gotta
be 100 proof.
Yep. Let's try this other one now, which you don't smell a difference. I do.
I smell a difference. I just didn't smell a marker.
Gotcha.
Hold on.
Interesting.
I wish we needed like to smell coffee beans or something, like or
Smell
cleanse our
coffee
palate
beans,
since
yeah.
it's so similar, to try to get the difference.
Right. Well, I did take a drink of our unofficial sponsor, Liquid Death sparkling water.
This is very different.
It is, which it's the same stuff, but just from one
I
single
got
barrel.
leather.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that what you're smelling? Not a marker? Are you smelling
maybe.
leather?
No, I still get a like a marker scent to it, an alcohol scent, I guess.
To me, this one smells sweet, but I don't get sweet.
No, there's no
It's
sweetness.
leather and spice.
Mm-hmm. And it's bitier, not in a bad way, but I feel like it tastes even stronger to me. I know
The
they're
other
the same
one
proof.
seems stronger to me.
Really?
Maybe it's because I've had several sips now.
Yeah, your
it's
palate is
whatever.
getting used to it.
But no, that's really interesting because it smells sweet.
Yeah.
But I absolutely get leather and spice on the taste.
I know from just our bottle, as you can see, we've had a good portion of this one. It is great in cocktails.
Yes.
Rittenhouse Rye is a really good cocktail mixer. It's a very affordable whiskey. So if you're looking for something to stock in your bar from a bigger brand like Heaven Hill Distillery, and you're like, what's kind of a go-to that I can get of a rye? Rittenhouse Rye, I think, is a great go-to for one of the bigger names. I think it's really good though. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's good.
We'll have it in our old fashioned on Thursday. Yeah. We'll do the new one in the old fashioned.
Yes. Because we've done the other one before.
Yeah. It's a very Rittenhouse Rye is very popular in Manhattans as well. So if you are a Manhattan drinker, I think you'd enjoy this one.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to see?
Well, if they can get this one, this is not one many people can get.
Right. So yeah, I'm just talking the normal Rittenhouse, or your liquor store or your wall to wall. They might have their own store pick, single barrel, because that's pretty
every
common.
store pick, every single barrel is going to be different because the barrels really do, unless you got two stores got barrels right next to each other.
Right.
Just depending on where they are in the rick houses.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I mean that opens this world of possibility as somebody who drinks whiskey of like. They're kind of like Pokemon. I want to catch them all, like I want to go to a different store and get that
all
one.
Get their single barrel.
Yeah. When it's a whiskey that I find like I like, because I like this Rittenhouse Rye, it's like, now I want to try the different ones and see if we can't, because obviously these two just in themselves are very different. And the one that maybe is in Des Moines, because this is from Omaha, could be very different. And then you go to, say you take a trip to Colorado and you find one that's a store pick and it's like, holy shit, that's probably even more different. Like, endless possibilities.
Yes. Yes, Justin.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add before we get everybody on out of here for the games that are about to start?
No, just good luck finishing out week 4 tonight.
We wish you a victory. Otherwise, we wish you success in the waiver wires. And join us on Thursday. Start sits. It's going to be a fun time. Not this week, but next week, we're going to put out some feelers for having a roundtable in the start sits.
A Thursday night start sit fantasy roundtable.
Yeah. So if you're one of our normal listeners that's also a content creator, or, want to jump in on that, let us know. Looking your way, RD and Jamie. Let us know if you want to join for the roundtable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, my first pour is gone. The other one, I'll get it gone. Going once, going twice.
Sold.